Hi everyone. So I'm going to continue talking today about authorities. So t this week I've given you sort of like a little quiz to play with authorities that's not graded or anything, it's just to practice. So I'm going to continue talking today about authorities just like I did last week, where I talked about describing persons, but this time we're going to talk about describing corporate bodies and also um, dealing with those kinds of fields. So I'm going to share this presentation that was actually created by the PPC. So I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, now let's try and get this PowerPoint here. Right. So hopefully this will work. Okay. So describing corporate bodies. Um, so in this case, this is like a screenshot of RDA Toolkit, and this is the RDA toolkit again. That is the original RDA toolkit and not the new one. So when you're logged into our subscription to RDA Toolkit, you'll want to go into the original one that you see in the upper right-hand corner to access it looking like this. So this is for RDA chapters 8 and 11. So the definition of a corporate body refers to an organization or groups of persons and or organizations that is identified by a particular name and that acts or may act as a unit. Actually, maybe I should just do this as like a slideshow. That would make more sense. Okay. So in MARC coding, these corporate bodies are coded in X10. So that can mean like a 110 field, a 610 field, or a 710 field, generally speaking. So the first indicator would be a 1 for a jurisdiction name, but then a first indicator 2 would be a name in direct order. And I most frequently find myself using first indicator 2. So meetings, events, expeditions in direct order are coded in X11. So in RDA, the first indicator is always 2. As with other authority records, RDA records for corporate bodies are coded Z in 008 and 10 rules and RDA in 040 subfield E. All right. Oh, here we go. Okay. So in like this is an example of a serial Society for Conservation Biology. So this is what like that masthead, I guess, would look like in that serial. So you've got this masthead here, and it's called the Society for Conservation Biology. And then here's an example of a monograph, Museum of Fine Arts, Houston. 150 works from the Museum of Fine Arts, Houston. The Kurt Weill Foundation for Music, which is in New York City. So this is what the website looks like. So, you would put that in its field, read out as the Kurt Weill Foundation for Music. Corporate bodies as creators. So corporate bodies can create records like out in archives. They can create serials, for example, newsletters and quarterly reports. They can create monographs like manuals, proceedings, catalogs, and directories, and they can create internet resources like company websites or blogs. And they can be contributors to an expression or maybe associated with manifestations and items as well. For example, as performers like the Pointer Sisters or Maroon 5, publishers like Grove Press or Bullfrog Books, owners like the UC San Diego Library or the J. Paul Getty Museum. As subjects, they can also be subjects of works. So here's an example. Here's a 610 field with a 2 first indicator and a 0-second indicator for the Society for Conservation Biology. And you have another example with the United States and a subfield B, Department of Homeland Security, and a 611 example for the Olympic Games and a subfield N for the 30th Olympic Games in 2012 in London, England. Transcription and capitalization, and these are all the various rules. 8.5.2 capitalization, follow appendix 8.2. 8.5.4 diacritical marks, record them as they appear, add them as if it is certain that they are integral to the name but were omitted in the source. 8.5.5 retain hyphens as if used by the body. 8.5.6 instructions about spacing between initials. 8.5.7 abbreviations follow the usage of the body. 8.4 language and script NACO policy equals Romanized vernacular scripts. RDA 8.12 source consulted, record in 670 field or 3XX subfield U or subfield V. Always include one 670 for the work being cataloged. Others included if needed to justify information in the description. Suggested format 670 subfield A title proper comma date and subfield B location within source or data. So here is a record where you have the rules as a Z. And in this 040 field, it shows in the subfield E that it's RDA. So what else are we looking for here? This is an authority record. So this is an authority record that is set up here for let's see here. Blind Veterans UK. So you can see there that is a 110 field. That's the name of the organization, Blind Veterans UK. And it's also showing here that the location is in London and also that in the 670 fields where they got that information from. The Wikipedia article in this like Blind Veterans UK review or something. Corporate body definition RDA 11.0 must be identified by a particular name, not a general description. Examples include associations, institutions, nonprofit enterprises, governments, etc. Also includes vessels and ad hoc events such as athletic contests, exhibitions, and festivals. Identifying corporate body's core elements. Preferred name for the corporate body, location of conference, etc., date of conference, etc., associated institution, core in certain cases, number of conference, etc., other designation if body's name does not convey the idea of a corporate body. And identifier. Identifying corporate body's core if needed to distinguish 0.6.7. Other place associated with the corporate body. Date of establishment, date of termination, period of activity of the corporate body, associated institution, other designation associated with the corporate body. So ambiguous entities, division of the world, Heathrow Airport, Stanley Cup, Hockey, Stock Exchange Tower in Montreal, Juno Awards, Elmendorf Air Force Base, Alaska. So it's showing you here Heathrow Airport. This shows airports H405 Group 1, Mark 110 RDA. Stanley Cup and hockey sporting events H405 Group 1, same thing. And then the Stock Exchange Tower office buildings and Juno Awards, and then Elmendorf Air Force Base, military installations active. Choosing and recording the preferred name. The preferred name should be the commonly identified form of the name. Forms found in preferred sources of information and manifestations associated with the corporate body, for example, title pages of books, are assumed to be the commonly identified form. preferred name chosen from preferred sources. So Museum of Fine Arts, comma, Houston, Society for Conservation Biology. Record the name by which a corporate body is commonly identified directly unless its name belongs to one or more of the types listed under 11.2.2.14, such as Antioch University or American Society for Engineering Education. So here's initial articles. When recording the preferred name of a corporate body, include an initial article if present, the Library Association, or alternative, omit an initial article unless the name is to be accessed under the article Library Association. The PCC practices to omit initial articles unless the name is to be accessed under the article. So, for example, Library Association, but Los Angeles String Orchestra. Preferred name, omit an adjectival term indicating incorporation, incorporating it's incorporated, unless the term is needed to make clear that the name is that of a corporate body. So company or corporation are not such terms. So Bailey Motor Company, not Bailey Motor Company Limited, Merck & Co., not Merck & Co. Incorporated, United Airlines, not United Airlines Incorporated, but Accepted Incorporated, Seattle's Best Coffee LLC, James R. Murphy Incorporated, and Financial Skills Limited. Preferred name, different forms of the same name. If variant forms of the name are found in manifestations associated with the body, choose the name as it appears in the preferred sources of information. If variant names appear in the preferred source of information, choose the name that is presently formally as the preferred name. So different forms of the same name. If no name is presented formally, choose the most commonly found form of the name. If there is no most commonly found form of the name, choose a brief form of the name. If the name appears in different languages, choose the form in the official language of the body as the preferred name. LCC, LCPCC, PS, if there is more than one official language and one of these is English, choose the form in English as the preferred name. Change of name, if a corporate body changes its name, create a new record for the new name. Use the earlier form with resources associated with it and the later form with resources associated with it. So Loft Incorporated, Pepsi-Cola Company, PepsiCo. Preferred names for subordinate and related bodies. Preferred name recorded directly is the default unless the criteria listed at 11.2.2.14 are met. Subordinate and related bodies usage and preferred names may not necessarily match. Usage, Agricultural Experiment Station of Auburn University. Preferred name, Auburn University Agricultural Experiment Station. A name that containing a term that is by definition implies that the body is part of another, for example, department, division, section, branch. So Harvard University Department of Physics, Hawaii Department of Human Resources Department. A name containing a term that normally implies administrative subordination, for example, committee, commission, Medical Library Association, Committee on Continuing Education, San Francisco, California Art Commission, apply only if the name of the higher body is required for the identification of the subordinate body, but Honolulu Committee on Aging, Honolulu, Hawaii Committee on Aging. Okay. So, are we still recording? What's going on here? Okay, yeah. Let me go back. A name that is general in nature like that contains neither distinctive proper nouns nor adjectives nor subject words, or that does no more than indicate a geographic, chronological, or a numbered or lettered subdivision of a parent body. United States National Labor Relations Board Library, Society of Biblical Literature Annual Meeting. A name that is general in nature contains neither distinctive proper nouns or adjectives nor subject words, or that does no more than indicate a geographic, chronological, or numbered or lettered subdivision of a parent body. U.S. Wildlife and Fish and Wildlife Service, Region 6, United States National Weather Service, Western Region, and University of Virginia, class of 2008. A name that does not convey the idea of a corporate body and does not contain the name of the higher body, like Human Resources, Tufts University Human Resources, Prince Edward Island Tourism Marketing Branch, Research and Evaluation, but California Records and Information Management, not California Records and Information Management. A name of a university, faculty, school, college, institute, laboratory, etc., that simply indicates a particular field of study. Rutgers University Center for Latin American Studies. Rutgers Center for Innovative Printmaking, Rutgers Accounting Research Center, Rutgers Medical School, Rutgers Oral History Archives. A name of a non-governmental body whose, turn this off. A name of a name includes the entire name of the higher or related body. Friends of All Saints Church, Brixworth, Northamptonshire. Friends of All Saints Church, preferred name of higher or related body, All Saints Church. AAP of higher or related body, All Saints Church, Brixworth, England. Authorized access point, All Saints Church, Brixworth, England. Subfield Friends, be Friends. Annual meeting of the International Whaling Commission, preferred name of higher or related body, International Whaling Commission. Authorized access point, International Whaling Commission, subfield B, annual meeting. Names that fail to the requirements of this instruction, like BBC Symphony Orchestra, higher body, British Broadcasting Corporation, CU, Boulder Alumni Association, related body, University of Colorado, Boulder. Annual meeting of FOIM, higher body, Fellowship of Indian Missiologists. Other types, United States, subfield B, General Services Administration, subfield B, Region 5. Vanuatu, subfield B, Ministry of Internal Affairs and Social Services. Boring, Oregon, subfield B, City Council, and Ontario, subfield B, High Court of Justice. Germany, subfield B, Herr. Idaho, subfield B, Governor. United States, subfield B, Consulate, Asuncion, Paraguay. Direct or indirect subdivision, intervening hierarchies record the name of the body as a subdivision of the lowest organizational unit in the hierarchy that is recorded directly under its own name. Omit intervening units in the hierarchy unless the name of the subordinate or related body has been or is likely to be used by another body in the same organization. Hierarchy, American Bar Association section of Business Law, Committee on Nonprofit Corporations, American Bar Association Committee on Nonprofit Corporations. Record the name of a subordinate or related body as a subdivision of the authorized access point representing the higher or related body if its name belongs to one or more of the types listed at RDA 11.2.2.14.1 to 11.2.2.14.6, like Universidad Autónoma de San Luis Potosí, subfield B, Facultad de Medicina. Things to remember: Division of the World, DCMZ1, Appendix 1, and SHMH405. Record directly unless rules of subordination apply. Use the form in the official language of the body. Attributes of corporate bodies, dates. Several types of date of a conference, etc., date of establishment, date of termination, period of activity. The date of conference element is core. If it is known, it should be recorded as an element. This does not necessarily mean it will be recorded as part of the access point. Other known dates may also be recorded. Attributes of corporate bodies, dates. Basic instructions, known date 2005, probable date 1957, 1 of 2 years 1675 or 1676, approximate date approximately 1953. Ranges of dates may also be recorded. Okay. Except for century dates, this element is recorded in Mark 046 on the EDTF format. EDF format has this link. You can see a website for more complex situations. Century dates do not follow the EDTF format. Simply record the first 2 digits of the century with no except for after the 20th century or 21st century. And then in Mark, you have a subfield Q, subfield S, subfield R, subfield T. PCC has not yet implemented subfield Q and R, etc. What's going on here? So for a company founded in 1960, you have an 046 with subfield Q 1960, subfield 2 EDTF. A musical group that started in 1960 and broke up in 1970, subfield Q 1960s and subfield R 1970, subfield 2 EDTF, date of establishment, subfield Q, date of termination, subfield R. I'm pretty sure that it has implemented subfield Q and subfield R, so you probably can use them. You can ignore this note. And here are all these examples of unusual dates in EDTF, like 1902 with a question mark, approximately, either, and, between. BC dates begin with a negative sign and are 1 year off because there was no year 0. Here's an example with a date associated with the corporate body, where you have this 046 field with a 1536 to 1707 date. And then here is a date associated with a corporate body from 1707 to 1875. And then here's place associated with a corporate body, which is a core element for conferences and other corporate bodies when needed to distinguish between bodies with the same name. Record in 370 field, which apparently is repeatable. If added to access point, record in parentheses with no subfield coding. Associated institution is a core element if conferences institution provides better identification than place name, or other corporate bodies needed to distinguish and provides better identification than place name. Associated institution uses preferred name only in this qualifier, but body is established use authorized access point in the 373 field. Other designation associated with corporate body, types of corporate body. So here are some examples: type of jurisdiction, other designation. Other designation associated with corporate body, type of corporate body, record in Mark 368. Prefer controlled vocabulary if available. Type of jurisdiction, record in Mark 368. Prefer controlled vocabulary yet again. And here's use a term from a controlled vocabulary or the term used in the qualifier. These elements are not core, but catalogers are encouraged to record them if the information is readily available. Language of the corporate body, address of the corporate body, field of activity of the corporate body, and corporate history. Language of the corporate body, Mark 377. Record mark language code in a subfield A, record specific language name in subfield L only when subfield A has a collective group code. Address of the corporate body, Mark 371, not required to maintain when updating record. Repeat subfield for address line breaks, email in subfield M. Field of activity of the corporate body, use controlled vocabulary if possible in Mark 372. Corporate history, Mark 6781 with a 1 first indicator and a blank second indicator. Identifier for corporate body, Mark 010 is the LCCN of the authority record automatically added. Mark 024 is another standard identifier, CDCM Z1024. Current moratorium on adding or updating until guidelines on use of subfields 0 and 1 are created. So here is an example with an 010 and 024 and another 024. Constructing the authorized access point. Record the preferred name in subfield A of the 110 or 111 field. Make required additions. Make other additions as needed to distinguish between bodies with the same name. Choose qualifier using judgment. Place associated with the corporate body or associated institution. Make other additions as needed to distinguish between bodies with the same name. Choose qualifier using judgment. Variants can occur for corporate names as they do for other types of names. Record variant names used by corporate body found in reference sources and resulting from a different transliteration of the name. Variant names, here are some examples. Variant names, record variant names for a direct form of the name if the preferred name is recorded as a subdivision of a higher or related body. Record variant names for the name as a subdivision of a higher or related body if the preferred name is recorded in direct form. Variant names are recorded in a Mark 410 or 411 field. Other possible variant names, expanded name, or abbreviated form. Other possible variant names, symbols and numbers, or shortened forms. Related persons, RDA 30. Related persons are recorded in 500 fields. If one is available, include a relationship designator in subfield I from RDA Appendix K with subfield WR. Related families. Related families are also recorded in 500 fields. If one is available, include a relationship designator in subfield I from RDA Appendix A with subfield WR. Related corporate bodies are recorded in 510 fields. If one is available, include a relationship designator in subfield I from RDA Appendix K with subfield WR. Things to remember. Remember when to add elements to the name. When the name changes, establish earlier and later forms. Make distinctions between variant forms of the name and name changes. Okay, so that should be the end of that. Hopefully this will have recorded.